Welcome back to New Rockstars. This is The Big Question, the show that gives you too much information about how the answer to every conspiracy theory is apparently Loki. From DB Cooper to MK Ultra arcade games, everything weird about the world is the doing of this frost giant bastard. I am Erik Voss. With me today is Tommy Bechtold. Hey, buddy.
Erik, good to see you. I'm so glad to be back, and I'm glad that we finally have definitive proof that my Thurman Thomas autograph that disappeared from my basement when I went off to college was not taken by my sister and sold on eBay. It was simply taken by the God of Mischief and used for what I can only assume was an intergalactic prank. So, my sister, you are forgiven. Loki, you are on my shit list now.
Yes, and the Sinbad Genie movie I saw in the 90s was actually starring Loki.
Yes.
I think we're getting to the bottom of all this.
Yes, perfect. Great.
Well, let's jump into it. Loki is coming to Disney Plus in a mere few months, and between you and me, Tommy, by far, Loki is the 2021 Marvel title I am most excited for. And ever since its amazing trailer last month, we are left wondering all kinds of questions. But high at the top of that list is this big question that, Tommy, you're going to answer for us this week. What real-world historical mysteries will Loki be the cause of? Both ones we know about, and what other ones in this trailer are hiding in plain sight?
Wonderful question, and I feel mischievous discussing them with you. Maybe I am possessed by Loki. Let's talk about what we have confirmed in the footage. D.B. Cooper, baby, in the trailer.
Baby.
Loki wearing a sharp suit and sunglasses, looking like a prototype for Don Draper. Neatly combed hair and maybe a little bit of alcoholism. We don't know. And he hijacks the Northwest Orient Boeing 727 and jumps out with a briefcase full of cash, which is the second best thing to stuff into a briefcase. The first, cocaine. We could
Pizza? Cocaine.
We can cut that out if you want. I don't care. Let's talk about the actual DB Cooper mystery / conspiracy. Dan Cooper, which was changed to DB Cooper through, I think, just kind of a mistake in the telephone game. People reporting it. The name on the manifest was actually Dan Cooper. It's the pseudonym of an unidentified man who hijacked a Boeing 727 in the United States airspace between Portland and Seattle. So probably pretty rainy and good coffee. On the afternoon of November 24th, 1970 fun. 1971, the man purchased his airline ticket using the alias Dan Cooper, but because of news miscommunication, as I said, he became known in popular lore as D.B. Cooper. It's estimated he extorted $200,000 in ransom, which would be about 1.26 mil today in 2021. And then he parachuted to an uncertain fate. Like an army man that I threw off the Bay Bridge, he is somewhere in Lake Ontario. He's not. He's somewhere in a Pacific lake. Despite an extensive manhunt and protracted FBI investigation, the perpetrator has never been located or identified. It remains the only unsolved case of air piracy in commercial aviation history, baby.
I'm so excited that Loki is linking to DB Cooper.
Yes.
We were so caught off guard when we saw that in the trailer, and it's mind-blowing, honestly. I remember watching Mad Men, and everyone thought the final twist of the final season of Mad Men was that Don Draper was going to be DB Cooper. Because the timelines kind of linked up a little bit.
Yeah.
And that some people, DB Cooper was like kind of described as a handsome gentleman with a nice suit,
But instead we got the Coke commercial, so.
Yeah. DB Cooper is just such a fascinating piece of American mythology because, like, before 9/11, airplane hijacking was a bit sexier. And people love this idea of a guy who could hijack an airplane and, they never found his body. He's probably dead, but like that he could kind of get away with it and he could parachute out. It's just so crazy and fictitious, but it happened.
Beyond belief, as they say on the old Jonathan Frakes show.
Have you ever had the desire to write your initials in wet cement?
No. It's like, truly, it seems like, how could this be? We're so good at finding lost stuff. How could this man have just vanished?
Why do we think Loki is taking the place of DB Cooper? Are they saying that Loki was always DB Cooper, or is he like quantum leaping?
Well, no one
DB
knows
Cooper's
who DB
body?
Cooper is, right? It's a pseudonym. So I think maybe the explanation would be that Loki simply used the pseudonym DB Cooper to get the cash that he needed for something. as means, or maybe he was bored. I think the name DB Cooper is simply just another weapon in the Loki utility belt, is my guess.
Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, he left some of that cash behind when he got bifrosted out of there. My theory is that, like, Loki, history is set in stone, but Loki is going back to these things and, like, quantum leaping into them just to, like, run amok, you know? His goal is to burn down the timeline, so he's going to these, like, lapses in the timeline to just try to further screw with stuff and meddle with things and make it even worse. What's another one? This one is a bit harder to spot. This Polybius game that shows up.
Yes, Polybius in President Loki's trashy hangout. Amongst the hoarded odds and ends is a Polybius arcade game. Let's talk about the history of the Polybius game. This is kind of an urban legend of an unheard of new arcade game just randomly appearing in several suburbs of Portland, Oregon. All right, what's going on with Portland here? Are you picking up a connection? Portland, Oregon.
There is a weird Pacific Northwest connection here.
Yeah, Northwest Connection, which is the second best rap group next to West Side Connection. They did it best, but Northwest Connection had some really great raps about lumber. Okay, so anyway, so this all happened in 1981. It was something of a rarity that people talked about at the time. The game is described as being so popular that people instantly got addicted to it, with lines forming around the machines, often resulting in physical fights over who would play next. The legend also describes the machines were visited by men in black who collected unknown data from the machines, allegedly testing responses to the game's psychoactive effects. So, players actually suffered a series of unpleasant side effects, including amnesia, insomnia, night terrors, and hallucinations. So, not exactly turtles in time. Approximately 1 month after its supposed release in 1981, Polybius is said to have disappeared without a trace. The company named in most accounts of the game is Sinneschlossen. The word is described by writer Brian Dunning as not quite idiomatic German, meaning sense delete or sensory deprivation.
But the thing is like, the game didn't exist, or did it? Like, this is what I consider to be a fun conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Because, like, whether or not this game existed, I want to live in a world where this game did exist. I think that's so much more fun.
It's an interesting, like, the concept of urban legends. It's almost a community thing where, like, one community bands together to swear something is true. You know, Loch Ness Monster, things like that, where it's like, okay, so these people in Portland probably, even if it wasn't real, they'll never admit it. You know, like, this is their urban legend that they perpetuate. So it's like the whole fun of a nice urban legend that has a location is that those people will swear by its accuracy, and they'll swear that it actually happened. You know, UFO sightings, things like that.
Sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo trash to me.
And this is it's similar enough to things that have happened, like, you know, MK Ultra. You know, that happened. The government trying to spy on us has been true. Well, that was later popularized with, you know, after the Patriot Act went out and with Edward Snowden's release, whistleblowing. But, like, it's true enough.
Yes, close enough.
It's true enough. It's kind of like a condensation of other real verified conspiracy theories that, you know, I kind of want to live in this world. Or I don't know if I want the government to be spying on us, but, like, if it's just through an arcade game and they're just, like, testing to see and it doesn't really screw up our life in other ways, that's harmless.
I'll allow some light data collecting on me as long as I get really cool technology. As long as I can, like, control my TV and appliances with basically glorified power gloves, they can spy on me a little bit through my video games.
By conceding that on camera in this video, you have given them permission, just like posting on Facebook. It's like the opposite of that. Like, if you say you're...
oh, God.
You know, basically, they're
my photos are my privacy. Facebook does not own my photos or my posts. My brilliance that has been written in Facebook statuses is mine and mine alone.
You and I know some fun brilliance that's been written in Facebook statuses.
Oh, good Lord. Oh,
we can go on, but it's so inside the baseball that even most friends of ours wouldn't know what we were talking about.
Yes. And I'll say this, Zuckerberg, if you're listening, you can have my posts, you jackass. All right. Moving on.
There was another one that I found after I found this, like, Roman numerals translated to 79. And then later on the fact, people were like, you realize that's when Pompeii was destroyed, right? And I was like, holy shit. So tell us about this one.
Pompeii, vacation goals. Yes, Pompeii was a Roman city that was destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. It's the location of the first discovered satyr square. In a brief shot, Loki dances with a woman in ancient robes, and on the wall beside them are the Roman numerals LXXIX, or 79. In 79 AD, as you said it before, Eric, the ancient city, Roman city Pompeii, was destroyed, as I said, leaving behind many mysterious ruins, including the satyr square, which inspired Christopher Nolan's Tenet, which inspired me to watch that movie with my mom, which inspired me to spend 6 hours of my life trying to explain that movie that I didn't understand to my mom, who didn't understand even more. Yikes. We waited for that. People risked their lives for that. What was that movie about? Why was it worse than a Rubik's Cube? I would have rather tried to solve a Rubik's Cube for 2 hours and 40 minutes than try and figure out whether or not Robert Pattinson was that lady's son from the future, which is what I thought. And would have tied it up in a Robert Zemeckis bow for me, but instead, no, he's just some guy.
Well, I think he is his son. I mean, we did a whole video about this, and Tommy, I spent like a couple days working on that with our editor, John, trying to piece together what that would look like. I didn't watch it for a couple months, and then I was like, wait, what happened in Tenet? I had to watch my own video to try to remember what happened in that movie, and I was confused by the video that I wrote.
Yes. Well,
I
Eric,
don't remember.
Let me tell you, and this is a testament to our friendship. The first thing I thought as I concluded the movie yesterday was, I need to watch Eric's videos on this because it's the only way I'm going to understand what I just watched, and then I can repeat to my mother. So I will watch your content, and I will explain to my mom in a 1-hour lecture what the hell we watched, and then we will forget it ever happened and just stick to Interstellar, where they spoon feed us the McConaughey. A bite.
Yeah, I would love if Loki, just with one episode, is able to make more sense of the Satyr Square than Tenet did. Like, how insane would that be? Crazy parallel thinking for Loki, a show that was being developed during 2018, 2019, to deal with, like, a Pompeii and the Satyr Square, when obviously they would have no idea what Tenet was going to be about. That, you know, Tenet kept its plot tightly under wraps until it came out. So I really, really hope that Loki makes some sense out of that whole mystery. But was there anything else that was on camera or something that we've seen in footage that might be a clue to what Loki's going to revisit?
Eric, I believe you gave your best, you served your best Sherlock Holmes with a little sleuthing to conclude we may have some Zodiac connections, correct?
Yeah, you know what? There might be some Zodiac in Loki.
Yeah, let's talk about it. In Kevin Feige's initial pitch of the Loki series in 2019, the concept art showed Loki in an urban 70s setting with a Jaws movie title on a theater marquee. Jaws released in the summer of 1975, about a year after the final confirmed Zodiac letter was sent. Now let's do a little history on the Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer is Ted Cruz. No.
Yep. History done.
Yeah, that's it. No, the Zodiac Killer is the pseudonym of an American serial killer who operated in Northern California, just south of Oregon, ironically, at least in the late 1960s into the early 1970s. The unidentified killer originated the name in a series of taunting letters and cards sent to the San Francisco Bay Area press. These letters included 4 cryptograms or ciphers. So we've got a lot of like puzzles and clues and things like that so far showing up in this, which, you know, Loki's an intellectual, so I'm not surprised to see that.
Yeah, the only reason why I'd be hesitant to see if the Zodiac Killer will show up in Loki is that it's so freaking dark.
Yes.
You know, people were murdered. People lost their lives.
Real life murders,
So, like, yeah, some of the best conspiracy theories and mysteries in history are ones about, like, innocent people getting slaughtered. I don't know if Loki's gonna like make some jokey sci-fi Douglas Adams tomfoolery out of that.
That's a little too glib. I think you save that for The Hunters on Amazon. Or one of those other like really super. I mean, I know these are comic booky movies, but like I feel like a Tarantino might take on the Zodiac Killer with a more wry take a look at it.
Now, as we move on to like some of the other maybe possibilities, things that we don't have evidence from Loki yet, but things that like based off of DB Cooper and Polybius they might address. Just to kind of like cross these off the list, we probably won't see any mysteries over the JFK assassination or Jack the Ripper. just because do you really think you're going to see Loki on the grassy knoll as, Jackie O is sobbing and covered in her husband's blood? No. You're not going to see that on Disney Plus, folks.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys. What?
And Jack the Ripper, even though it's been kind of this mythologized thing, if you look at the history of Jack the Ripper, women were being horribly massacred around London, and he wrote these creepy ass letters to Scotland Yard. It's not a fun thing to revisit.
A conspiracy theory about Jack the Ripper I just simply have to add in to stay on brand is that he's buried in Rochester, New York.
Whoa.
One of the alleged leads on who Jack the Ripper is a guy from England who came over to America and moved to Rochester. Flower City, everybody rise up, 585. We got Jackie Rips.
A lot of people think Jack the Ripper, that's why he was never caught, is he fled to America. And, this was the turn of the century Victorian era. They didn't keep track of everyone who made it out.
He hates to leave America. I should hate to go there.
That could be where he ended up. Yep. We don't know. But what are some other possible conspiracy theories?
Yeah, we've got Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster.
Is Loki just dressed up in a big furry costume, walking that weird way, and he's on that film?
The only way I could see that is if it's a montage, if they bang this out montage style.
Sounds like a franchise.
He is the originator of urban legends and conspiracies in America.
He is every conspiracy theory.
Like, he's just simply responsible for all of it. So you get Amelia Earhart, you get Jimmy Hoffa, he's just doing all of those unsolved disappearances and whatever.
Yeah. Amelia Earhart is an interesting one to consider because she just kind of went missing. Her plane never made it back, and we think maybe it went down somewhere in the Pacific. But, is Sophia DiMartino's character like a version of Amelia Earhart who was just displaced from history, and now that's who she is? Because she was kind of like a hero, we have museums and statues in her honor. You don't want to do anything that would tarnish her legacy.
I'm not one to shy away from danger.
What about the Roanoke lost colony? I think there was just some information that came out about Roanoke, right? That they were able to do some research and find where those settlers went.
Oh no, I'm not caught up on Roanoke, Eric. Do we have late breaking news on Roanoke?
As of this year, in November 2020, archaeologists just came up with some details about Roanoke. How there's the whole mystery of Croatoan was carved in the tree. But they were able to find other things based off of maps and pottery shards and other archaeological dig sites that link it to the Roanoke colony. So it really just sounds like the settlers just moved on to another area and built a new colony there.
They wanted something with a better view.
We should take
Roanoke colony
and push it somewhere else.
Maybe Loki could tie into that whole thing. Because I think a lot of these will just be kind of like one-off jokes.
I think so too.
Will there be an entire episode about each of these things? Maybe not. However, I think there are some conspiracy theories about extraterrestrials or things from outer space. There's a whole thing about the big wow signal. Where it was kind of like what Contact ended up being based on. It was like they heard this crazy signal from outer space and it happened only once and never again.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be like Loki's some kind of battle in Earth's orbit and it just disappears.
Oh, yeah.
I think the most likely one, Tommy, might be that crazy Solway Firth spaceman photo. Remember that one where a firefighter took a picture of his daughter and there's this crazy looking like spaceman standing behind her and he's like, there was no guy there. And a lot of people are trying to debunk it, saying that no, the guy's just full of shit, that it was his wife who's just turned a certain way. I would love if Loki had to wear some hazmat suit and then he just happened to show up in this guy's photo and then space stoned out of there right afterwards.
Oh my god, that's really funny. That would be awesome.
Let us know in the comments below what other real world mysteries and conspiracy theories you want to see the Loki series tie into. I think this is a fascinating opportunity to have Loki quantum leap throughout history and answer some of these long-running mysteries that we've never had answers to. The answer is Loki.
Bastard!
Let's move on to some people who helped us make this episode.
Woo! Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about something near and dear to my heart. Honey! Oh my darling. These days, online shopping is about the only shopping we do. Not me, I go to the digital underground where I buy dark shit on the dark web. Just kidding, honey. We'll start that over. These days, online shopping is about the only shopping we do. That's where today's sponsor, Honey, comes in. It's the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and automatically tests them when you're checking out. No thanks, honey. My shopping is a secret. Just kidding. I love bargains. Honey is basically your online shopping best friend, as opposed to my real best friend, Zach Hall, who only takes from me money, my wife, my cars, my kids on Easter. Suck it, Zach. Anyway, get Honey on your computer for free in 2 easy clicks. Then when you're checking out on one of its over 30,000 supported sites, Honey just pops up, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. It's like a savings leprechaun. It pops up when you most need it, and if you catch it, it owes you a wish. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for the coupons for that site. If Honey finds working codes, it'll apply the best one to your cart. Off-screen producer Zach, not Zach Hall, Zach Huddleston, the good Zach, used Honey recently to save $5 on some flowers he was buying online for his mom. Be like Zach and save money on some marigolds for mama. Unless your mom is allergic to flowers like mine is, then use Honey to get her allergy medicine. Honey has found its over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings. That's billion with a B, baby. Honey supports all kinds of retailers, from tech and gaming sites to fashion brands and even food delivery. Maybe you could save on honey by using Honey. I don't know. Would the world collapse on itself? Was that what Tenet was about? It's simple. If you have a computer, Honey should be on it. Not real honey. That would break the computer. Honey, the browser extension. It's free and it works with whatever browser you use. You can get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/bigquestion. That's joinhoney.com/bigquestion. So they know we sent you. Tell them Large Marge sent you. Thanks, Honey, for supporting today's episode. Did you know Large Marge was 37 when she died, according to her birth and death date in Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Oh, that's sad that they decided to make that her history.
Yeah, she's 37. She looked 80. Anyway, let's talk about Gabby. We're all looking for ways to save money, right?
Yes.
Yes. Gabby customers save an extra $961. Yes. $961 a year per year on average on car and home insurance. Do they have bear insurance? Because I'm getting attacked in the woods daily by these grizzlies. Gabby takes the pain out of shopping for insurance by giving you an apples to apples comparison of your current coverage with 40 of the top insurance providers like Progressive, Nationwide, and Travelers Insurance. You down with PNT? Yeah, you know me. That's Progressive, Nationwide, and Travelers, the big three as I call them. Link your current insurance account, and in just minutes you'll be able to see quotes from that exact same coverage you currently have. That's what I did. Gabby was incredibly fast and easy to use. I'd been with my old insurance company for over 5 years, and Gabby helped me realize I was overpaying. I don't even own a car. Legally, I can't drive, and yet I was giving my money away every month. I logged in with my current insurance provider. It showed me over a dozen quotes, and I was able to save a bunch of money. Not bad. I like that. Still can't drive a car, but maybe I'll get a tank and take my vengeance out on people. With $961 per year on average, that Gabby customer save, you could buy a full wardrobe of new Rockstars merch, burrito bowls for days, and a new full back tattoo of Babu Frick. Bali! And they'll never sell your info. So no, that's not even something Babu Frick said. That wasn't even.
Yeah, what is going on?
I don't know what that was. I just made up a noise. Right. So, come on. We got to bring this home. Buddy Frick is Babu's brother. He's got a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I? They'll let you know so you can relax knowing you have the best rate out there, and they'll never sell your info. So no annoying spam or robocalls from them. But you still can have 5 fabulous nights in Vegas if you sign up at TommyTrips.com. So don't skimp on that.
What?
That's my robocalling service. So you're probably overpaying on car and home insurance. See how much Gabby can save you. It's totally free to check, and there's no obligation. Go to Gabby.com/bigquestion. That's GABI.com/bigquestion. Gabby.com/bigquestion, baby.
All right, so now we are going to move on to some bite-sized questions that I'm going to answer. So what do we got this week, Tommy?
All right, we've got a little bit of a connection. Montoya23 on Twitter via Justin R. Brown on Facebook asked, in Civil War, who texted Cap to tell him Peggy Carter had died?
You know what? This is an interesting question. I kind of wondered this. I just kind of assumed it was one person, but, so just to remind people, in Civil War, Cap was notified that Peggy Carter had died while he was with Sam and Natasha and other people in the Avengers compound. So it could not have been one of them. And it probably would not have been Bucky because, Bucky was on the run in that movie. Cap hadn't caught up with him yet.
Parkour! 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 Parkour!
If you look at the phone number on that phone, it is 44-020-7946-0722. And, we should start off by saying Cap did not save that number in his phone under any specific contact name. So, Tommy, either Cap doesn't know how to work phones that good, which is very possible because the guy is still figuring out what Star Wars is.
I'll put it on the list.
Or it's just a contact that he didn't think it necessary to list contact information for. Now, when you just put in that number in Google, a lot of Marvel fan sites will just credit it to Sharon Carter. They assume Sharon Carter was the one who texted him because Cap knew Sharon Carter from Winter Soldier. But if you remember in that scene in Civil War, Cap was genuinely surprised to see Sharon Carter step up to the pulpit to deliver the eulogy. He must have not known that Sharon and Peggy were related. Had he kept Sharon as a kind of Peggy-related contact in his phone, he would have known that they were related. So, by that logic, that number was probably not Sharon Carter. But, back in Winter Soldier, Cap was meeting with old Peggy in her hospital bed in her home. So he probably was in touch with whatever S.H.I.E.L.D. contacts or caretakers were looking after Peggy. So maybe the person who texted him was just one of those caretakers. That text was brisk as she's gone, period. In her sleep, period. Jesus, show some bedside manner. Yeah. This is her longtime friend. She's gone in her sleep. It's kind of like when Kingsley and Harry Potter crashed the Weasley Delacour wedding with the scariest voicemail of all time.
The ministry has fallen. The minister of magic is dead.
By the way, congratulations on your wedding!
I brought you a toaster, but it'll show up later.
After everyone's dead. I'm going to say, based off of the fact that it's all business, that the text might have just come from Nick Fury or Maria Hill. That sounds like a text they would have sent, right? Though, another but here, Tommy, wouldn't you say their phone numbers would have shown up as encrypted on Cap's phone? Oh. It's Maria Hill and Nick Fury we're talking about. So here's an answer that the true fans want. Was this mystery texter old Cap?
Oh.
Well, it depends on how Marvel chooses to interpret the timeline logic of Old Cap in Avengers Endgame. Now, the directors, of course, say Old Cap lived his life in an alternate branch history, but the screenwriters, for whatever reason, still insist that Old Cap was just in the background of the main MCU history the whole time. So if the screenwriters are right, I guess Old Cap could have been present at Peggy Carter's funeral, but he's not a pallbearer, as has been theorized. That is a different guy. If you look at the set photos, it's just some random dude. But theoretically, Steve could have had a friendship with this just random old man who looked a lot like him, who he later finds out is a future version of himself. And that old man saying, by the way, our wife is dead. She is gone in her sleep. That might be why Cap never moves on after the snap. He's like, look, I had this old friend, and he, based off of this, I know some time travel BS is in my destiny.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me.
So that in Endgame, when Scott Lang shows up babbling about time travel, Steve's like, aha, yep, this is it. This is how I'm going to turn into my old self. And this is proof that I will never, ever, ever learn proper cell phone etiquette. I love going down that rabbit hole, but, that directly contradicts the movie's own branch timeline time travel rules. So to answer your question, fellas, that mystery texter was probably Nick Fury or Maria Hill or one of those caretakers or S.H.I.E.L.D. contacts who's looking after Peggy Carter, but was not Sharon Carter.
Cold-blooded. Cold-blooded.
All right, hit me with that next one, baby.
All right, Civilian via the Discord asks, where did General Grievous's many lightsabers come from?
Now this is a difficult one to answer. General Grievous from Revenge of the Sith, the separatist general. He prided himself in Jedi hunting and saber collecting during the Clone Wars. We see him lift his cloak. He's got about 4 of them there, and we know he has 4 from when he fights Obi-Wan. He has way more in his collection, though. This guy's got like a whole box of these things. Jangly ones.
It's a whole shoebox full of them, not dangly ones.
All right, I think he said dangly, not jangly. I'm an idiot. The reason this is hard to answer is because a lot of the stories that hint at the way Grievous got those sabers are not really considered canon. You know, kind of like that 2003 animated Clone Wars. Deleted scenes are only debatably canon. Like, for example, it was previously thought that he got his first lightsaber from Jedi Master Sifo Dyas. You remember him. He's the one who broke away from the Jedi and started the whole clone army with the Kaminoans. And there is a whole backstory involving him and Dooku and Grievous. But this idea of Grievous getting his first lightsaber from Sifo Dyas was later retconned in the Clone Wars series. Sifo Dyas' lightsaber was found elsewhere. Now, we can say that Grievous got one of his blue sabers from the Jedi Pablo Gil from floating debris after an intense duel left that Jedi wounded, and then it was all during a very intense duel on a collapsing satellite over Duro. Grievous got one of his green sabers from Eve Koth, who was captured by Grievous on Silukami's system during the Clone Wars, but was able to get away. Not with his saber, though. Grievous got another green one from Roran Karab when he stormed the capital on Coruscant to capture Chancellor Palpatine during the Battle of Coruscant. Now, some people say Grievous might have gotten another blue one from the Jedi Master Shakti. That was the Jedi who was sent to try to rescue Chancellor, kind of his last line of defense, but she was killed. However, Tommy, that was in a Revenge of the Sith deleted scene. Now, Obi-Wan and Anakin did talk about Shakti trying to go rescue the Chancellor in the Clone Wars Season 7, a scene that was canon.
What about the Chancellor?
Shakti has been sent to protect him, but Master Windu has lost contact with her.
It's just hard to know if Grievous killing her and getting her lightsaber is canon.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if it really counts either way. Now, there was another saber that Grievous got from Master Kukruk during the Battle of Hypori, though that was also in the 2003 Clone Wars, which is not considered canon. And it was believed that Grievous got ones from Fol Mudama, Roth del Masona, and Bank Ultria. Grievous briefly held Nadar Veb's lightsaber until it was recovered by Kit Fisto, and some people say he held the lightsaber of Darth Zana, Sith Lord from the time of Bane. Jury is still out on which of these stories will be real. Some people are hoping that Bane will show up in The Acolyte, and we might get some pieces of that history. But I think overall, don't get too precious over these 4 lightsabers being like, what is the story behind these? Just know that this guy's got a whole freaking room of these things. And he's like the crazy, scary Vietnam vets who carry necklaces of severed ears.
Do you have any idea what it's like out there? Do you?
Is that offensive, Tommy? Do we have to cut that?
I don't think so. I think it's terrifying.
Well, there is your answer. That is how, just know that he's killed and captured a lot of Jedi.
Yikes.
Not every lightsaber is one that he got from a Jedi he killed. He's just disarmed a lot of people.
He's a very freaky boy.
I think you're freaky and I like you a lot.
With a bad cough, and we barely got to know him in Revenge of the Sith. God bless Clone Wars for showing us more of General Grievous.
Yes.
That guy's pretty cool. And he doesn't care where he gets his lightsabers. He doesn't get his diamond certification. Is this a blood saber?
No.
Thank you. Yes, please.
He's got to collect them all. Got to catch them all.
Yeah. All right. We have time, Tommy, for one more box scraps question that we're going to answer. This one comes from actually Sauceless, our friend on Discord, who asks, if you were to believe in one conspiracy, what would it be? Just one?
Ooh,
Can't we have them all?
Yeah, just one. I try not to be into conspiracy theories. I try and laugh at them and try and, dismiss them. But in reality, in my heart of hearts, I think if any conspiracy theories are to be proven true, any famous ones, it's going to be something so ridiculous. So that's why I think it is the old Paul McCartney got in a awful car wreck on a rainy night in Liverpool way back when in the 60s and died in a car accident and was replaced by an American double who had similar facial features but then was operated on to look exactly like Paul McCartney and then learned to sing but was never as good. There's a whole documentary on Netflix, which is absolutely insane and proof that anything can go on Netflix, that proposes that one of the big reasons that all of the Beatles actually hated the new Paul McCartney because, one, he took the place of their friend, but also that he was such a terrible musician that they had to work extra hard to make the music sound authentically Beatles. And in that documentary, they also propose that there was a girl in the car accident who got injured, who also had radical plastic surgery, and then became Heather Mills, who would go on to marry and royally screw over Paul McCartney. Now, that would make Heather Mills, who's like 30 years younger than Paul McCartney, actually the same age as him. So I'm not quite sure how that documentary felt like adding that detail in was going to make it more plausible, but I like that they took a big swing. So for me, you play the record backwards, it says Paul is dead. You play my head backwards, it says Paul is dead as well. What about you, Eric? What's a conspiracy theory you think might be real?
I love all the different rock band and pop band conspiracy theories. The Paul is dead one's fun. I've just learned about the Larry, the Harry Styles, Louis, One Direction relationship, because I think it's so pure, even though all conspiracy theories lead to people harassing random people on Twitter, and it sucks. I love that one where it was Roller Coaster of Love. It has a screaming in the background, and it's from a woman who they used for the cover whose legs got adhesively stuck to a bunch of honey they had, and then that her skin was being ripped off as they tried to remove her.
Yes, yeah.
I love that one. Pop culture conspiracy theories are harmless ones for the most part, unless they're real, and then they're awful.
Right.
But my favorite conspiracy theory, if I had one to choose to be true, fake Melania.
Oh, yeah.
I can't get enough of it. It's so funny to me.
It's so great.
That, because it's bizarre, but man, I have seen a couple of these side-by-side pictures and being like, this is not the same person. And just being like, what is that? She's like 6 inches shorter.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Tommy, there are plenty of side-by-side pictures of me taken days apart where I look like in the one and in the other. And it's me. It's all me. But there are clones of me at the end of the day.
Yes. But I have one in my room.
So this idea that there might be a fake Melania is just so funny to me. It's probably not true. I just find it so joyful.
But it's delicious.
Theory exists. And now we can kind of laugh at it.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think.
Until it's proven. I don't know if I can, Eric, because according to the comments of our YouTube videos, I put subliminal right-wing messages in our videos.
We know he's one of us. Come to Parler, Uncle Tommy.
Come on. You know what? Follow me to the conversation on Parler, where free speech is always encouraged. The president is a lizard.
So much free speech that the app glitches and falls apart.
But it's free.
Well, that is it for this controversial episode of The Big Question. Thank you, Tommy, for joining me this episode.
What a pleasure.
You can follow Tommy at Tommy Bechtold. Follow me at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Send us your big questions using the hashtag Big Question. Subscribe to the podcast feed. And if you don't mind, give us a nice rating and review there. And subscribe to New Rockstars here on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. See you next week. I can't wait for Loki to prove us wrong on most of what we said this episode.
Oh, yes.